So tell us about what the women are going to take away today.
Wow. Well, we hope we put on a good speech, and a good talk for everyone.
I heard we have a very good interviewer.
That's
so
true.
I think we're in good hands.
We are in good hands. We're hoping that women will come today and they'll hear our story and hopefully be inspired by our story in different ways. One of the ways is to be proactive about their health. I was diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago, and my big message to women is always, we make these to-do lists, and we put everyone else on these to-do lists, our kids, our husband, our friends, but we never put ourselves at the top of the to-do list, especially when it comes to our health. So we need to start putting ourselves at the top of the to-do list.
Well, and I think this year it's going to be a little bit different because I understand that I'm the first man ever to be speaking at this event. So we think we're going to really give a different perspective and, share with all the ladies how important having a significant other is and the role that they play when going through difficult situations.
Yeah, I could never have gotten through what I went through without this guy, and I think a lot of women will be able to relate to that in the audience. And the role of the caregiver is very important, especially when you're going through a health issue.
So what role did you play as far as taking care of her and as far as getting her to the doctor?
Well, I always say that when you're a caregiver, you have to wear a lot of different hats, from short order cook to a comedian to motivational speaker to a male nurse. She was calling me Greg Fokker for many months.
From Meet the Parents.
But I think the most important role, a caregiver can play is that of someone who helps facilitate the decision-making process, because emotions are running wild, and I tried to take the emotion out of it and replace that emotion with knowledge and information and getting the proper guidance from other doctors. Yeah. And that was, really the best role that I could have played.
Yeah, when you're going through a health issue, something like breast cancer, it's very easy to let your emotions take charge and take charge of all your decisions as well. And sometimes you don't make the best decisions because you're at an irrational place in your life. You're in an irrational state of mind. You're very emotional. And that's where Bill stepped in and said, honey, I get it. I'm with you. But, I know you want to do this, but we should also consider this. And he was able to take the emotion out of the decisions.
And is that kind of where the business end of the marriage kicks in with your profession?
I mean, well, a little bit. I think in business you have to make decisions that are based on knowledge, and when you get emotional, that's typically when you make bad decisions, So, I think I had a little more heart and compassion than if it was a real estate transaction or if we're opening up a new restaurant.
Yes, definitely.
But, the same principles apply. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
So take us back to the first day that you were diagnosed.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, I was 36 years old. I had no family history of breast cancer. So to hear that I was diagnosed with breast cancer was the shock of a lifetime. And it was probably the darkest moment in my life. And I was so sure I wasn't going to be told that I had breast cancer. I was going through the tests, but I thought there's no way. And in fact, I was so sure I went to that appointment alone, because Bill was on a charity mission, and I said, don't come back for this because I'm fine. I don't want you to fly all the way home for this. And then I was told I had breast cancer, and so I immediately called Bill, and then, part 2 of our life began, which is, just something that we never saw coming. And it was awful. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's one of the worst things you can hear as a woman.
So where are you now in your lives?
We're great. I was diagnosed a few years ago, and I'm cancer-free, and I'm great, and everything's wonderful. And, even though I would never go back and do it all again, I wish I had never been diagnosed, but you can't make those decisions in life. God's going to put certain things in your life that are meant to be there for a reason. And that's how I look at the breast cancer. Because of it, I've become a stronger person. My priorities have totally shifted. I live life to the fullest. And so as horrible as breast cancer was, I do see the blessing in that time in my life because it made me who I am today.
Well, and I'll tell you, there isn't a day that goes by where someone doesn't stop one of us and say, thank you. Thank you for, documenting this journey because my wife went and got a mammogram. Right. Or, my family now knows what we're going through. So, you know, God knew that she would use the platform wisely, and she sure did. I'm proud of her.
He knew I was a loudmouth,
That's
and
right.
that I was a big mouth Italian girl
right.
who'd get out there and share the story.
So do you put family first now?
I do. You know, back then, work was such a priority for me, and it really isn't anymore. And so we made a commitment to slow down, which we're doing now. And now that Duke is at a great age where he's realizing mommy and daddy aren't home. So even being here, you know, we could say, oh, let's like make a little mini vacation out of this, but it's important for us to get back to our son. And
We've got to get our son ready for the NFL.
oh, jeez.
The combine. The combine.
What are you talking? He's 2.5.
We're gonna have him play for the Texans.
There we
you
go.
go.
That's right.
It's funny because Bill, we always joke that his name, so Duke, our son, that's his name, but
Well, Edward Duke is his
yeah, Duke's actually his middle name. His first name's Edward, after our father's, and we always joke that if he's an NFL quarterback, he'll be Duke Rancic, and if he's a CEO, he'll be Edward Rancic.
No pressure on that kid.
We've
huh?
got it all figured out.
Tiger Mom.
So he better be one of the two. Otherwise, the name just won't fit the job.
Cutting you out of the will, Duke.
Yeah, so
Nothing.
he better figure this out quick.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.